Hello everyone and welcome back to the Foreplay channel. I'm Bella.
I'm Jace.
Today's video is all about a review on Libertine Events San Antonio. This is a hotel takeover put on by Kate from Wanderlust Swingers, and her company is called Libertine Events, or it's also known as Podcast-A-Palooza.
This was our second Libertine event, and this is the second one that we were one of the host couples. They'll normally have several different host couples that maybe are podcasters. Generally it's podcasters, I feel like, more than anybody else. And so this time we were there, Expansive Connections, Average Swingers, Swinger University, Life of Spice, they were DJing.
As hosts, we did host a couple different, I guess, events you could say. We had a class one day, we did an icebreaker one day, and some of the other hosts did other things. DJ Life of Spice was there, so he was DJing, and so it's really nice to have this collaboration as well as being able to meet other couples in the lifestyle too, where we're able to connect with other people who are in our space and in our industry. And so we really like that aspect of Podcast-A-Palooza, where it almost feels like a reunion every time that we go.
I'll start off by saying where this one was. She does events all over, so that's events throughout the US. She does events in Europe. This one specifically was in San Antonio. It was a really cool thing because we like the kind of contrast of being able to be at the hotel, but then go walk around. You could go see the Alamo. You could go to the river walk. You could do all sorts of fun stuff like that, but it's cool that you're also at the hotel and have those options.
We really like whenever hotel takeovers put the hotels in an area that you're able to get away from the hotel takeover. If you're not wanting to do that lifestyle aspect, you're able to go and experience a bit of the culture of that city, versus if it's in a random hotel in like the middle of like a suburb or something, where pretty much all the action and all the things you're wanting to be doing is at the hotel. So we like that contrast there.
So demographic wise, I would say it was pretty much that normal swinger demographic, that 45 to 55. It is couples only. And I would say you definitely don't have to be in the lifestyle to go to an event like this. I do feel like most people we talked to were lifestyle, or at least very interested in the lifestyle, becoming part of it. I think it makes sense because I think the core of this event is kind of from the podcast place and the lifestyle podcast space. And so I think a lot of people that are at events like this are at least interested in the lifestyle. They're not already in the lifestyle. The other thing is, it was amazing how nice people were here. When we talk about the lifestyle crowd, I feel like people are so nice, so friendly, and that's everywhere. Everywhere you go, it's always the same. But somehow people here were just like somehow even friendlier. Like, it doesn't even make sense to me. It was so nice. People were so kind. I feel like me and Bella are the kind of people in an elevator. We'd be like, hey, how's everyone going? Before you could even do that, other people were just always doing that. People would walk up to you, say hello. It was so welcoming, so warm. And that was just one of the biggest things we noted about the demographic, was just the kindness and the welcoming spirit that I feel like this whole group of people really had.
Libertine has definitely created a very welcoming and close-knit community. We feel like this is the biggest sense of community that we felt, and it seemed like it was really easy for everyone to talk to each other. And at the pool, it seemed like there was so much conversation going on. We have never seen a pool quite that busy before, and we'll get more into that whenever we talk about the class and the little icebreaker thing that we were hosting. But it seemed like the people who were there also were very interested in the different seminars and the different classes that were going on, and there was a really good turnout for all of them. And I do think that this has a lot to do with the type of people who are coming, who are interested in listening to these lifestyle podcasts like Jace touched on earlier. I think whenever you're taking in and wanting to learn this information and to benefit your journey the best that you can, so you're doing research about it and you're learning about it, I think that that is one of the core reasons why this community and this group of people felt even that much nicer than in other lifestyle events that we've been to in the past.
I do want to clarify, we are not saying that you're going to go to any lifestyle event and have people be rude or standoffish.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, people are nice, kind, welcoming. It's the most kind, nice, welcoming groups anywhere you'll ever go. This place just somehow went even above and beyond that. So we're talking, if it's normally 100% normal places, it was 110% here. That's what we're saying by this.
I made a little funny analogy to it, but it felt like Canadians.
Well, the stereotype of like what we think as Canadians.
Yeah, where you think Canadians are like so nice and like so welcoming and so kind, and that's just how it felt. Even like you said, even more so than at other events. Not saying that other events have people who are not going to welcome you, but it just felt a little bit different here.
So the event itself was Friday through technically Monday morning. So, got there on Friday midday, and then the last party was that Sunday night. People went home on Monday. Now, there was a large group of people that actually came in and checked into the hotel early. So on that Thursday night, I know they went down, they had drinks down there so people could meet and have drinks. So even though the event was only 3 days technically, a lot of people did get there early just to, kind of meet, mingle, and kind of make connections, I guess, even quicker, even earlier.
And that way you didn't have to wait until later in the day to get checked in on the actual check-in day. We have found that when it comes to hotel takeover, sometimes it is really nice to get there the night before, so then you're already checked in and unpacked and you're able to completely enjoy the first day of the event rather than getting there and then feeling like you're missing out on the beginning of the day, whether that be because you are tired because you've been traveling or for unforeseen circumstances, traffic, anything like that. So when it does come to hotel takeovers, I think that if you can, I would recommend to get there a day earlier. I guess to maximize your experience, I think that it could be helpful.
Yeah, it was nice though because we got there the morning of because it was a quick drive for us and the room wasn't ready yet, and they were able to hold all of our bags, give us tickets so everything was safe. So that way we were able to walk, go get some lunch, we were able to go to the pool party, and we were at least able to enjoy the event even though we weren't able to check in yet. So that was a nice touch, so that at least they were able to help out whenever we couldn't check in. I will say we were able to check in on time at the time the hotel was supposed to be able to check in, but since you weren't able to early check in, they were able to help you out. So you kind of go to the pool parties or do whatever you wanted to do just to mix and mingle with people.
Size-wise, it was about 130 rooms, so about 260 people. So this was a really good size where it wasn't overwhelming. I should have touched on this when we talked about the demographic, but it did feel like a great mix of being able to be completely new, and this is your first event ever, to somebody who's been in the lifestyle for many, many, many years and very experienced. We also met a lot of people who this was their very first experience or their very first event, and talking to them at the very end of the event, they absolutely loved it. The size like this, it doesn't feel too overwhelming at all, and we love whenever hotel takeovers are a completely full takeover, so you know that everybody who is there is part of the group.
I agree. I think that size is a really good size, and I feel like it feels like there's so many people to talk to, but at the same time, it feels intimate. And so I feel like it does have, it walks that line of like a good amount of that intimate feeling, but also not being too small. And so I feel like it really was a good amount of people for the types of party and the overall feel that the event had.
We did talk to a couple who we actually met on Desire Cruise, and the cruises are quite a bit bigger, and they actually said that they preferred this event and this size of event much, much more. And so it just kind of depends on what you're looking for. But if you are newer and you don't want to be overwhelmed, we really, really think that Libertine Events is a fantastic one to start with.
Organization wise, we'll start just kind of with the main lobby area. This is where you got checked in. Over past there, they had kind of this little seating area. They'd have like sporting events going on, this huge screen back there. They did different stuff out back there different days. One day there was for the glow night, they had like a body painting type stuff where you could go and get some, fun little stuff painted on you, on your face, your body, wherever you wanted it.
That was all included too. I think they were just accepting tips, but yeah, you could just go and get body painted, which we've never seen before because usually it's quite a large price to get your body painted, and so the fact that that was included for the glow night was really cool.
And also in that area they would do some stuff like they did some little games, like some board game type stuff, and so there's just some little events over there. You'd always see people that maybe the night parties would leave the night party and they would go over there so they could just kind of sit, talk in more of a quiet space, and so that was nice that was kind of the main hub. As far as you still stay on that same floor, you could actually walk down, and I guess technically it's down a floor. There was a really nice gym, so if you wanted to use the gym while you're there, you definitely could. And then over past that, still on that main floor, you had a coffee bar, so you could go get coffee, had some nice seats. And then across from that is where they had a restaurant. That restaurant was not open all day, but it was definitely open in the afternoons, in the evenings. And then they actually, we'll talk about the food later, they had the dinner in there one of the nights, but you could always go get some food. There was a bar there, so you could have drinks. So we'll also talk about drinks later on. But it was nice because you kind of always had that area where people were at least just sitting, talking, hanging out. And so that was kind of the first layer layer, the first floor. And then also on that first floor, they had a place where if you walked under, I guess where the valet would be, it was a big conference room. It was a huge conference room. This is where the parties were at night. This is where all the classes were. And there was just seating in there. So it was just a really nice area. I said, we'll kind of touch more on it whenever we talk about the specific dances and the classes and parties and all that kind of stuff. But that is the layout of the first floor of the hotel.
The pool was really cool because it was actually all within the hotel. Like it was outside, but the only thing that was surrounding it was other rooms. So because of that, you were actually able to be completely nude at the pool if you wanted to be. And that place and the Playroom are the only places where you could be completely nude. But that's really cool because usually at hotel takeovers, there's not that often that you're able to be completely nude. But because this was already so private, because it was just the hotel around you and not any other hotels I could see inside, you could be nude. A lot of people did partake in that. So it was really nice to have that option. The pool had towels there that you could use, and it actually had, is it turf? That it's not like grass, but it's kind of like turf. And
like
so
the fake grass that was very comfortable, doesn't get too hot. It's very
so
nice.
It felt really nice on my toes, like whenever you're walking around, because it's not like concrete where it did get super hot. There also was a bar there where you could go and you can get drinks. A lot of people did do that.
Also at the pool, they had music during the pool parties. The pool parties from around 1 to 5 o'clock. They always had a DJ playing, and so that was a nice like vibe for the pool party. I also personally love the pool, but because of the layout, it's almost like the sun would be kind of half blocked. So normally half the pool would be in the sun, half the pool would be in the shade. And so it was really nice because if you're like me who gets burnt really easily, you don't want to be in the sun, but you still want to be in that fun pool atmosphere, you had the option. But if you wanted to be in the sun, you had that option. And so I really liked the layout of the pool. I thought it was a very cool space, especially for a hotel in a downtown. To have a pool like that, I feel like was really, really cool.
There was also a lot of areas outside of the pool, like the actual water of the pool, that you could sit around. And again, because it was that turf, you could just put a towel down and be comfortable just like laying on the floor, if that makes sense, because it felt like grass. And the depth of the pool was really nice too, because it was the perfect conversation type pool. It was kind of cold, but I mean, you can't really help that.
It's also October.
Yeah, that's true, it is October.
So.
But a lot of people, it didn't stop people from going into the pool. It was just kind of like once you got in, you're like, but then you get used to it.
So next we're gonna talk about the playrooms. And to me, the playrooms I thought were so cool. So on one of the floors, they converted 4 of the rooms into playrooms. And this event was called Senses, which is supposed to play at the different bodily senses, so sight, taste, smell, all of those things. One of the rooms had 3 huge beds, and it was kind of more, I guess, of that like group room. It had that red lighting. It just felt very sensual, and they just had nice kind of decorations around it. And so that one was really cool. And then you went next door, and they had a room that had 1 bed, and they had moved one of the beds, and they had put a massage table there. And so you had all of the oils and things you needed for that, as well as the massage table. There was a Liberator in that room, and so it just felt very nice. It had some like little of like the fake candles there, so it kind of gave that very sensual feel. And so that playroom was really cool.
One room had more of a cooler tone in there. It was that bluish purple type feel, and that one had a bunch of masks that you could take and use, and it wasn't the ones that you would reuse over, like you could just take it and that was your mask. So there was a ton in there. And all of the playrooms also had protection in there. There were towels if you needed them. They had mints available, and because they were rooms, I don't know if people use them, but there was a bathroom in every single room, which was really nice. And then probably the most popular and our personal favorite one was they turned a suite into a playroom. And so you walk in, and it was like the size of a nice sized apartment, because it was like a 2-bedroom apartment pretty much. There was even a kitchen in there. Obviously the kitchen wasn't being used, but I'm just saying so you can get an idea of how creative it was, because we haven't been to a hotel takeover where they've converted hotel rooms into different play areas, because usually they'll do it in a different, like a big conference room or something like that, and convert it in that way. But this one, because there were different rooms, it kind of felt like in Europe too, which you'll have like different actual like doors and different individual rooms that are set up to be different themes, which is really cool. So you walk in and then there is a big swing. You know what kind of swing I'm talking about. And so they had one of those there. And again, there were towels everywhere, sheets if you needed them, protection, mints. And then there was a liberator. Was there two? There was at least one. Yeah. And then there were couches that kind of made like an L shape. So then you can kind of watch the liberator being used. And that was, I guess you could say, the living room area. And so the first bedroom had 2 beds and it had really red lighting. That one kind of seemed to be more of the fetish room. They had different toys, crops, whips, blindfolds, those kinds of things that you could use. And there was also straps on the bed, like in the 4 corners if you wanted to use that. And then you walk through and then there is one more room, and I guess you could say this was like the master bedroom. And then this one had, I've actually never heard of it before, but they had the toy where it was like it would keep your legs out. I don't know if they called it a strap, but they called it something like that. And so they had like 2 of those in there, and it was just like a big bed because it was like a king size bed. So then you can fit multiple people on there, and and that one had a little bit more of a blue tone too. So even within this suite, they had different areas to play on those senses as well. And we just think that it was really cool. And it smelled really good too. There was like essential oil diffusers. And the music was nice. Some of them had a little bit more of that dungeony type of music, and some had more of that R&B sexy music.
I feel like overall it was just a very creative, cool way to make playrooms at a hotel takeover. They also had staff that was working there each night, so there was like a playroom attendant, like multiple, that would be in there just to make sure, you know, people weren't being too loud, people were following all the rules. And so it was nice that they always had staff everywhere too. So it's also, if you needed something, they were always there. They were so polite, friendly, which is also just a great touch at a playroom too.
And the times that it was open was really nice too, because it started around 9 to 9:30ish. And of course, most people aren't there at that time, but if you wanted to, you could. And then this was really cool because usually on the very last day of big events like this, the playrooms will close early, and they actually had extended playroom times that night. And so it was open until like 3 a.m. So next we're gonna talk about theme nights, and Kate always has really interesting theme nights. They're really cool and unique. And so this one was, the very first one was kaleidoscope nights. And so that was kind of holographic colors, rainbow, that kind of thing. The second night was called Sims Society. So that one was really cool because it was kind of like you create a character or some kind of avatar of yourself or of a different character, and then you can come up with a backstory with it. Or you could like have like the Sims little diamond thing on top. We saw a couple people had that. One person even had one that lit up and it changed colors. So you could change it to red, and you can change it to the colors on your phone. So if you were mad, you know, like if well, obviously I don't know if they were mad, but like if you wanted to pretend you were mad, you can change it to that color. And so that was really cool. It was really cool to see everybody's in different interpretations on that. What I did was I kind of went for a Harajuku anime type vibe. I decided that I was a cute little doll, and my name was BO69. Oh my God, B0, not BO, okay? B069.
And then I did just like a futuristic cowboy type thing. Bella's was definitely cooler than mine. Then the last night was like a glow night, which they call UV Utopia, which I always just feel like a glow night it's always a classic staple. Everyone always does it, but it's always a crowd favorite. And so that was a nice thing to have, you know, like one of those staple ones as well as the 2 more unique ones.
And we'd say probably 95% of people were on theme. This, I think, was definitely the most amount of people that I've seen participate in the themes. And again, I think that goes with the type of community this is and the type of tight-knit and just, I don't know, there's just something about this group of people that were just so incredible, and everyone was just so excited to be a part of everything, and everyone was just so enthusiastic about it. And so that was really, really cool. And you had a range from people who were wearing kind of just I guess club attire that would match the theme, all the way to people who were doing major costumes about it too. Like multiple days I saw people wearing wigs. I even wore a wig. This is the first time at an event that I've ever worn a wig.
So food-wise, you definitely have the options of going into San Antonio, just buying food. There's a ton of places that were walkable from the hotel that you could eat. But then they also had a brunch every day that you could pay for. You could go and you could get like a brunch buffet. They also did this at dinner, and every single night the dinner had a different theme. And so the first night they had a Mexican theme. The food was so good. There was so much. So I mean, there was definitely plenty for everybody who wanted to go and attend that. The second day they had a barbecue one, which we did not go to that one, but we were also at the third dinner, which they did kind of like almost like a Thanksgiving Southern home style thing. They had chicken fried steak, potatoes, stuffing, cornbread,
I'm
dessert.
literally still thinking about the stuffing to this day. It was so good.
Yeah, all of the food was so good, and I liked the setup because you could walk in, you'd get your food, and they just had a bunch of tables, and so no one was sitting by themselves. Everyone was at a group table, which it didn't force you to talk to people, but I feel like because people just like to be in that environment, everyone was just sitting. You would sit with different people every single night, and you just met people that way. Everyone was so friendly, so kind, and it was just a really fun environment for dinner. And I like the fact that you could not leave and you could have a nice filling dinner, or if you wanted to leave, you could also do that. And they also had a drink package that you could pay for, and then you got unlimited drinks, or if you wanted to, you could also just pay for drinks individually. And so they really had an option kind of for everybody, whatever you wanted. So if you wanted to bring your own food, you could do that. Like there was mini fridges in the room. So whatever you wanted to do, you were able to do, but the meals themselves were so good, and having that option in the hotel I thought was really, really cool.
I think it's super convenient, and that is something unique that we haven't seen in other hotel takeovers before. It gave it more of a resort feel because you could just have all the things that you needed at the hotel without having to leave if you didn't want to leave. We even saw some people who maybe they didn't want to eat their food in the big area and like sit with everybody else, and I saw people go in, get their food, and then you can bring it up to your room if you wanted to. So that was a nice option that you could do that as well. Another thing about the dinner, she also had some of the host couples actually host the mingle around the dinner as well. So then one of the nights, Jason and I and Life is Spice, we hosted, or we were like the mingle host, I guess you could say. So after we were done eating, we were just walking around and talking to table, and then Swinger University did that the first night. This one we usually save for when it comes to like miscellaneous stuff, but I was really impressed on how they handled situations that just happened to come up. So the very first night, the dinner was actually kind of a little bit hectic because the restaurant, you had to wait in a longer line to get through to get to the buffet, because the area that the restaurant is typically in, it could hold everyone, but I don't know exactly what happened, but it just wasn't the most.
It was a little bit tight.
Yeah.
I feel like more people came to dinner than even expected. And so what Bella was going to say here is that the second night and third night, they moved it to the conference room, which was much more spacious, much bigger. The layout made so much more sense. You're able to have people walk from both sides. People could get food faster. And so the fact that whenever something, I said nothing went wrong the first night. Everyone was able to eat, and it was perfectly fine. But to make it even smoother the next two nights, they moved that dinner so that it was just the most convenient and kind of smooth way possible.
And I always think that's impressive whenever an event coordinator is able to think on their feet. Is it think on your feet or think on your toes?
I think
think at the tip of your head to think quickly and to change things to make everything, more accommodating for everyone the next day if something wasn't exactly how it was planned the first day.
Accommodation wise, it was a nice hotel. We felt very comfortable. Our room had a nice view, just kind of overlooking the city. We had 2 beds. You had everything that you could really need in a hotel room. So there was a mini fridge in there. We were able to put some lights up, and I feel like it gave our room such a fun feel. We always like to do stuff like that. They said all the pools and the bars and everything. It was just nice. So overall, I feel like it was a very nice hotel with really nice accommodations.
Hotels that are chosen, it's not like you're going to the same hotel over and over and over. So it's also really impressive that she's able to choose different hotels in different areas in different cities, and always be able to choose one that it has a bit more of a boutique feel, if that makes sense. Like it's not like a Marriott or like a Hilton, like it has a bit more character to them. And I think that that's really cool that she's able to do that, because I know that's hard to be able to find hotels that can accommodate one, as many people as this community has and the type of activities that's going on. So definitely like claps to that, snaps. Yeah. When it comes to activities, there were a ton of things to do. She had a brochure at the beginning that showed all of the things happening. There was also an app that you could use to see what was going on. You could also use that app to actually talk to other guests who were there. It was like a messaging app, and that was really nice to have that available. There were different classes that the different hosts put on. We personally did an icebreaker mingle games. And so we did a little bit of a speed dating at first. And our other game, I took a long double-ended toy that was floppy. And then we put it between our knees and we had to keep passing. It was kind of like hot potato or musical chairs in a way. And then the last person standing won a hat. And that's what I was talking about earlier, when it feels like the community that was there, everybody was so enthusiastic and excited to be a part of everything. Because that was by far the biggest turnout we've ever had at a hosting event type of thing. There was a bunch of other classes put on, educational ones. There were dance classes. There was a Magic Mike class. There was a burlesque class that I did too. And all of this stuff is included. And so that is so awesome. There was so much to do. Always a pool party going on. One day there was a burlesque dancer. The teacher who did the class, she ended up going and doing a little performance at the pool one of the days. And so there's definitely always something to do. And it was really, really fun.
So we also hosted a class and we did how to make a fun, like kind of sexy atmosphere in your room while you're traveling. And so we went over all the different music that you would need and lights and all that kind of stuff. And we actually liked that so much that we're going to make a video about it so that anyone who wants to know that can know that. But it was just also such a good turnout. We kind of made it more of a where it wasn't as formal, so people at the end were also making suggestions that they had learned. People were asking questions, and it just felt like a really great sense of community. So I know, like, as far as class-wise goes, I feel like that was one of the best times we've ever had hosting a class. It was so much fun, and just overall, it was really, really nice, all the events that were put on. There was also a canal tour because San Antonio has the river walk canals. Kate put on some of those so that people could go get on a canal, do that tour. And so that was also a really cool thing to have an event that wasn't just even in the hotel. So if you wanted to leave and go see some of the city, there was also an event with the group for that.
This is kind of an activity, but it leads into the music and the party atmosphere. So every night there was the main party, and that was in the conference area, and it held tons and tons of people. There was definitely enough room for everybody to be mingling and dancing, and they had lights and stuff everywhere. The DJs that were there was DJ Life of Spice and also a local DJ, and they set up like a big LED screen in the back. So that was really cool to give it that almost like music festival-y vibe, where it wasn't just like you felt like you were at a club, if that makes sense. Music was absolutely incredible. We just loved the mix of everything that there was. There was sexy music, there was reggaeton music, there was EDM, there was music that you could like dance and queen, like those things that, like, I would say karaoke songs that you would want to be screaming and singing to. And so yeah, very, very good with that. And when there's good music, you know there's going to be a great party. And so a lot of people were dancing. There was also 2 bars in there as well, so you could get drinks on either side if you wanted to. And you could easily leave the party to go into that little section, or actually it wasn't even a little section, it was a pretty big section that was inside of the hotel lobby where it was quieter and you could talk to people if you wanted to. They put some seating in the back. I think it would have been nice if there was more seating available. I don't know exactly how they could have done that, but maybe make like the wall of the area have more seating, just because it didn't feel like there were as many places to sit. That's just like something that could be improved. I'm sure that it's hard with logistics and everything, but that is something I feel like I would have liked to see.
In conclusion, this honestly was a really, really great event. Such a good sense of community. Me and Bella have talked about this so many times. We really do feel like if you are a person, maybe you're wanting to go to a first event, I really feel like this could be a great option, as well as if you've been in a lifestyle, it is a great event. But I'm saying specifically here for those newer people, I feel like it could be a really great event because of that welcoming feeling that seems just, it feels intimate, but it's big enough, but not too big. It's not too small. It just feels like a good amount of people. I said people are so welcoming and fun. Also with doing the seminars, doing the classes, having the host, you have those people that you can ask questions to and go to all those courses that are all included. And so I really do feel like it is a great event, whether you are newer, whether you've been in the lifestyle for a long time. And it's the same thing where I know that this is our second one, and we met people that we had met, we saw people that we had met on the previous ones.
Which was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So there's people who continue and love the event so much that they're going to sometimes even multiple locations, because she'll usually do one in Texas and one in Florida. And typically that's in Miami. The Texas ones will vary because there's so many different big cities in Texas, but that definitely shows that it's a great company if there are people who are already booked for multiple of them. I will say, with the event being about like 270-ish people, it does skew on that more intimate side. And so we will say, if you are looking for an event where you're able to have more of a variety, I guess you could say, or just even make more and more connections, it might be a little bit too intimate for you. But if the idea of having a huge crowd sounds kind of overwhelming to you, we think that this is a great size.
I totally agree. I think it'd be a great size if you're looking for the more intimate thing. But what we realize in the lifestyle for us is that having a variety is really great. And so sometimes smaller intimate events feel great. Sometimes bigger events feel great. So what we highly recommend is going to an event like this, going to one of Libertine events, going to a cruise, going to wherever, and finding what works best for you, finding what you feel like fits best for you as a couple, because it really is couple to couple. Some people like smaller events, some people like bigger events, some people like both. And so what we recommend is just going to all sorts of different types of these events so that you can figure out what is best for you. But definitely you are looking for that more small, intimate, tight-knit place. We definitely feel like the Libertine events are a really great option. If you guys are looking for more information, we'll have it linked down below, libertineevents.com. That way you can go see where all the next hotel takeovers are. Maybe one's close to you, but maybe you want to fly to one. They have them all over, so we'll have that listed down below. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like on this video. Comment down below if you guys have any questions about the event, and make sure to subscribe so you never see post a video, and we'll talk to you guys in the next one.
Bye.